أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على أشرف المرسلين سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وأصحابه أجمعين لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. I don't know exactly how I'm going to perform now because I'm feeling very tired. I've been here since very early this morning, and sometimes your age is against you. But in my case, my age is against me, inshallah. In any case, I think that on numerous occasions, many of you must have asked, where do we come from? Where are our origins? I don't think many of us know. Did we come from Indonesia, as the people say, or from India, whatever the case might be? Where did we come from? Where did our forefathers, where were they born? Where were their foremothers born? Where were they born? And I want to tell you a little bit about the history. I always like telling this to people as an introduction to our work. Because I want us to understand that we, in a certain sense, in fact, in a great sense, we belong to each other. Now, if one examines the history book, you will see that at the beginning, and I'm talking in the 1600s up to about the 1800s, a large number of Muslims had come to the Cape here. They were mainly slaves. Some of them were political exiles, and some of them were defined as criminals. Who are these people? Where did they come from? In fact, the history books are wrong. Most of these people had come out of India. Not out of Indonesia, as many of us want us to believe that. It is not true. In the studies that we have done, we found that most of the slaves from the 1600s to the 1800s that come here came from what was called slave factories on the Malabar coast and the Coromandel coast of India. So the initial slaves, most of the initial slaves that came here were mainly from the Indian subcontinent. There were also Shafis because the Coromandel coast was mainly a Shafi area at the time. Of course, a large number of them also came from Indonesia, from New Guinea, from Mozambique, from East Africa, from Arabia and so on, also from those areas. But if you look at the percentages, you will see that more than 30% of the slaves who came from the Indian subcontinent. So many of us, in fact, have Indian roots, not Indonesian roots, as many of us imagine. Later on, of course, during the end of the 1800s, 1900s, another stream of people came from India itself. Came mainly as sugar plantation workers, very poor people. They came to work here. Many of them, of course, have developed very well and become very rich. Some of these people in this country. Now, the first prominent Muslims to come here was, of course, Tuan Mahmud and Tuan Abdul Rahman and Tuan Mataran. We came in a ship, I think, called the not the food book, the Fool's, or it doesn't matter. Whatever the name of the ship was. They came from Sumatra. This is in 1667. They had fought the Dutch there because the Dutch had taken over the country. They were scholars of Islam. They were also in the Qadri Tariqah. So the first prominent Muslims to come here at the time were people of the Qadri Tariqah. And they came here in 1667 in the Pools Brook. That's the name of the ship. Two of them were sent to the forest of Constantia, and the other one was sent to Robben Island. Forest of Constantia, we had Tuan Mahmud and Tuan Abdul Rahman. Tuan Mataran, or I think it must be Mataruddin, he was shifted to Robben Island. When they came here, the governor was informed they must remain in chains because they are dangerous people. But these were our first forefathers. The first Muslim to make adhan in this country were two sheikhs of the Qadri Tariqah. They were the first sheikhs. We can't deny the history. Where did they do that? In Constantia. And the first time the Shahada was mentioned and the sujood was made, and the ruku was in Constantia. They must have prayed. Of course they must have prayed. And so our history in this country starts in Constantia. Not as many of you want to say in 40, it's not true. It started in Constantia with Sheikh Abdurrahman and Sheikh Mahmoud. They were Qadis here. There's a possibility they were also Qadis the Quran, we don't know. In 27 years later, 694, Tuan Yusuf arrived. He was a great scholar, of course. He had studied in India, Istanbul, in Arabia, Medina, and Makkah, all over. He had also joined a number of tariqah orders. He was a Khawati. The 7 days and the 40 days and the 100 days come from the Khawati order. He was also Naqshbandi, Qadri, Chishti, number of orders he belonged to. And he was referred to as the crown of the Khawati order, Taj al-Khawati. He was such a great scholar, such a great solid person that they referred to him as such. He also was a Mujahid. He fought the Dutch in Indonesia, and they captured him by tricking him, telling him that his daughter had been captured. And they tricked him and they captured him. And they sent him first of all to the island of Java, Jakarta, and he was in jail there. Then the people protested and they sent him to Ceylon, to Colombo. And because many of the Pujaris who came from Makkah came by Ceylon, he met many of these people and they shifted him from Ceylon to Cape Town. He was perhaps, in my opinion, the greatest historical figure that had set his feet in this country. When he came here, they put him in Fori, and they gave him a piece of land there, belonged to a Christian priest of all people. They had given him Cowden, and he built himself a little shack. There was also shacks in Constantia. Our Islam in this country started in shacks. I want you to start understanding that. Not in triple double-story houses, in shacks. There were shacks in Constantia, and there was a shack in Fori. Even the Christian historians praise this man. One of the things we can't understand is why he never fought the Dutch here or wrote against them. When he came to South Africa, he spent time just spreading Islam, teaching Islam, practicing Islam, and he became a very solid person. Tuan Yusuf and Tuan Mahmoud and Tuan Abdurrahman have come down on his as awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. 2 Qadis and 1 Khawati. But he also practiced the Naqshbandi tariqah. So the Naqshbandi order goes right back to Tuan Yusuf. The Qadri order goes right back to Tuan Abdurrahman and Tuan Mahmoud. Let me just pause a little bit. Who are these people? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks about who he says, Allah inna awliya Allah la khawfun alayhim wa la hum yahzanun. He speaks about these people. He says, truly the friends of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, they are those who believe very firmly in the Lord. They believe in Him. They are people of taqwa. They have no fear, no need to grieve. Both dunya and akhirah. Who are these very special friends? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted what is called divine friendship. Such a massively high darajah, status by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There are many of the scholars of the opinion that all the solid people, from messengers right down, are all awliya. But there are different categories of awliya. The messengers were the highest category of awliya. And then you have the rest of the prophets, and all the others were coming down, the muttaqeen, the muhsinin, and so on. Immensely pious people spend their time mainly in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Like Tuan Yusuf. He was in Fori amongst the Jews there, but he worked in the cause of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And he taught his religion, the religion of Islam, to others. And he participated in azkar, both personal and congregational. And he pleaded to his Lord every day for piety. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent upon him a major grace. Not only upon him, upon the other three also. Major graces. Major ni'mah. So that today they walk in our history as kramot or as awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Why can't we become like that? Why must we always scratch in the sand? What is it that they have that we don't have? They have the same Quran. In fact, they didn't have any Quran here. They must have memorized the Quran. They had the prophetic tradition. They had the writings of the scholars. What was the difference? What made a person like Yusuf become one of the great awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? What made Tuan Abdul Rahman and Tuan Mahmoud become awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? And I'm just mentioning three for you. There are so many. In what is called the golden circle. The golden circle of graves of Muslims. Sorry. And I'm charged up, I'm not going to tie you. So you'll have to be with me. I'm asking the question to myself and to all of you. How come that there were certain people in our history that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted what's called divine friendship? This is a special category, a special darija that some of them attained. And Yawm al-Qiyamah, they will be sitting on pulpits of light. And the Anbiya and the martyrs, the Prophet will envy them and ask, who are these people that Allah has favored to this degree? And they will be told that these are awliya of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. How did Nabi Muhammad define them? If the ayah was in the Quran, he must have spoken about them. One of the hadith he says, the awliya, those people, when you look at them, they remind you of Allah. You look at them, you think of your Lord. Another one, al-mutahabuna fillah, they love each other in Allah. And Yawm al-Qiyamah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will call out, Aina al-mutahabuna fi jalali. Where are those who loved each other through my honor and greatness and grace? Come under my shade. Today they shade for you. Doesn't he want to have that shade? Don't want to be people that Allah calls on Yawm al-Qiyamah? Or that Nabi Muhammad defined like this, don't want to be like that? Those people became human beings just like us. But there was one big difference. One big difference between them and us. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala came first and last in their life. It was always their Lord. It was never the dunya. Their primary concern was their Lord. And they spread this message of their Lord wherever they could. And they worked hard in the cause of Islam. And they remembered their Lord day in and day out. And they called on him in dua. And they studied the religion of Islam. And because of those things, Allah raised him in darajah, raised him in darajah, raised him in darajah. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala called Jibreel to him. He said, Ya Jibreel, I love such and such a person. I want you also to love him. Can you imagine this? And Allah sent for his greatest messenger of the heavens, Jibreel alayhi salam, and tells him, I love such and such a person. I want you also to love him. And Jibreel loves him. And Jibreel calls all the inhabitants of the heavens and announces to them, O inhabitants of the heavens, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala loves such and such a person. Our words. When that information comes down to the dunya about that person. When I was sitting in the job seat, I just finished a lecture there on abortion, I think. And while I was praying my sunnah, a youngster came and sat next to me. When I finished, he said, Brother Yusuf, I want to tell you something. Yes? I dreamed of Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And Nabi Muhammad told me, so said, such and such a person is a wali of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I said, MashaAllah, don't tell anyone. He might not want others to know. The information that come down, give it to me. There are also, of course, many people become awliya, but the information never comes down to them because they are unable to carry that. They're not strong enough to carry that grace. So that information about them always remains in their head. I'm at the end of now. We must ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala that He must give us the understanding and the courage and the determination to achieve. And to call on Him to let us achieve. To call on Him for guidance that we achieve. Because we can only achieve through Him, not through ourselves. It is Allah that changes hearts. It is Allah that places divine light inside hearts. It is Allah that grants us friendship. But we from outside must work hard for this. Males and females. So that one day we can also come down in the history of this country as being of the awliya. Why are we producing nothing today? We haven't heard today of anyone. Why is it like that? We ask Allah with the barakah of Surah Al-Fatiha, His greatest surah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, must grant divine friendship to us. All of us sitting here. That we can obtain that daraja from Him. The daraja of wilayah. Barakah of Surah Al-Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين رب اغفر لوالدي آمين الحمد لله رب العالمين